And, you know, we know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark, okay?
Corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure.
This hits close to home for me, so we definitely got to talk about it. Man, welcome back to another episode of the Ruling Class Podcast, and of course, I'm your host, Didi, back up in this bitch with another video. Listen, if you're new to the show, please know your boy is thirsty to grow and to drink some of this water. You can help me out by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. But don't worry, I'm going to give you a sec to do that. Tell me out. Listen, I appreciate y'all. So look, I'm going to get right into it. What makes a guy corny? What makes a person corny? And for the sake of this video, I'm going to use these terms interchangeably. Corny, cornball, a lame, right? Being a lame, being whack, being a nobody, terms like that. Maybe not being a nobody, maybe that could be separate, but these other terms, being a lame, being whack, being corny, being a cornball, I think are pretty much used interchangeably, especially where I'm from, which is the urban community, right? And I asked this question and nobody has ever been able to just answer it for me, right? People know the answer to the question, but I feel like when it comes to me, people can never tell me that because they feel like it's not going to hold up. So they always want to go elsewhere and pretend like they don't know what the term means because everybody has their own definition, right? So Michael B. Jordan, right? One of the most popular and successful Hollywood actors, you know, as of today. And NBA, I'm willing to say that he's a superstar already at 23 years old. NBA superstar Ja Morant for the Memphis Grizzlies, right? Two completely different situations, but I want to talk about both for in this video because I think it centers, it kind of like plays into the same conversation about wanting to portray yourself a certain way or wanting to be a way or society trying to force you to be someone that you're not. And I think we need to talk about that, especially in the black community. So let me say this before we watch the first clip. I am not saying that this is only in the black community. I'm going to repeat that. I am not saying that this is only in the black community. Yes, all different cultures and societies and races make fun of each other in high school and middle school. They tease you. They try to peer pressure you. Yes, that's not just in the black community. However, I do believe that it's a lot more, it has a lot more detrimental impact on people in urban communities and disenfranchised, disadvantaged communities because of, you know, the lack of resources, because of the lack of just role models that are in these communities, right? So let's start with Michael B. Jordan. For those of you who don't know, I think for a good part of his career, a lot of people have always said, or at least I've heard in the last few years, you know, rumblings about the type of person that he is. Yes, he was voted the sexiest man alive and this, that, and the third, but he's corny, but he's lame. Well, he was recently interviewed by somebody that he apparently went to high school with, and this is what happened.
We know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark, okay?
Corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure. No, you did not hear me say. I said we used to make fun of the name. But yeah, he is obviously killing things out here.
I think that Michael B. Jordan is just like a nice, corny guy. And I don't mean that as a slight, right? I mean, we all know that the nice, corny guys treat you the best.
To be honest with you, we teased him all the damn time because his name was Michael Jordan. Let's start there. And he was no Michael Jordan. And then he also would come to school with headshot. We lived in Newark. Yeah. Like that's the hood. You know what I mean? So we would make fun of him. Like, what you gonna do with your little stupid headshots? Like, and now look at him.
Now look at him.
So in her defense, I believe her name is Lorietta or something like that. In her defense, she wasn't the one that called him corny or called him a cornball. It was another lady on the podcast. I believe her name is Eva or something like that. But she did add to it, right? She didn't deny it. She didn't say that he wasn't a cornball or that he wasn't corny, right? But this is my problem, right? In the black community, the things that we call lame or the things that we call corny, let's see. If you're into technology, you know, the sort of careers that pay very well where you're able to take care of your family. If you're into things like technology, you're considered lame, right? If you enunciate words properly, fully, you're considered corny for that. Because it's deemed as talking like a white person. You don't need to sound educated in these urban communities. You need to sound like you're not educated. If you're not into sports, right? If you're not into sports, or if you're not good at sports, you're considered a lame. You're considered corny, right? Again, these terms are used interchangeably. If you're not into either illegal activities, and let me be clear, I'm not saying you have to do all these things to not be considered a lame, but you have to be into some of these things. Some of these things are mutually exclusive, some of them are not, right? And if you're not into them, then you're considered a lame. If you're not using, popular trendy lingo, you're considered a lame. You're considered corny. Speaking of trendy, if you're not wearing what's hot, the shoes. Just the other day, 2 days ago, I went to this day party with a good friend of mine, right? And so like a week and a half ago, he and I went shopping, and I don't go shopping very often. I'm not a very big materialistic person. But I'm getting ready to go to Houston. And so I went in, I bought some clothes or whatever. And so when we were in the mall, we passed by the store that had all the Jordan 1s and the Dunk Lows and all the hot Jordan shoes. And he was like, oh, and it caught his eye. So we go in the store. I don't really care for the shoes very much. But we go in the store, we're looking around. And we get to the Dunk Lows, which are very popular right now. And I tell him I think the shoes are ugly. I don't find them that nice. Again, some of you out there may agree, some of you may not. I don't think the shoes are that attractive, right? I like Jordan 1s. They're very similar to Jordan 1s. I think there may be a variation of Jordan 1s, but it's something about those Dunk Lows that just aren't attractive to me. Another reason I don't like the shoes is because they're uncomfortable, right? Another reason I don't like the shoes, probably the number one reason I don't like the shoes, is because everybody wears them. So anyways, a couple of days ago, we go to this day party. And we get out there, and this very thing I told him in the mall a week and a half ago showed itself when we was at the day party. This is a day party that's predominantly black people, and every other person you see has on Jordan 1s or they got on Dunk Lows. Everybody dresses the same. Everybody talking the same. Everybody smoking. Everybody want to do the same things. And if you do that, then you're considered hot. You're considered popular. You're considered cool. But if you don't do that, then you're considered weird. You're considered a lame because you're not following the trends, right? So when I watch this, I feel what Michael B. Jordan, if you look at Michael B. Jordan's face, the man really felt the way, right? Because he like, look at me now, right? You had all that to say. What does it mean to be corny? And a lot of you may have in the comment section to say, well, being corny isn't always a bad thing. But it is, though. We know that it has a negative connotation. Because when you look at the statistics, out of 10 million low-income working families, 10 million, 39% were of single mother homes. In the African-American community, 65% are single mother homes. Did you hear what I just said? That's almost double what the national average is. Only 1/3 of them receive child support, right? And if you don't know, when it's a single mother home, you are much more likely to be a poor family compared to families that are married, right? Why do you mention this, Didi? Why is this important? It's important because of that 65%, a great majority of those women, I'm not attacking the women per se, but a great majority of those women think like women like this. They think like women like this. They don't want the corny guy, right? They don't care if the guy is driven, is going to be able to provide. Don't care if he's cheating on her. Don't care if he's beating on her. As long as you're not corny, as long as you're not a lame, as long as you're wearing the hottest shoes that's out, as long as you're participating in whatever it's, I don't care if it's illegal or not, as long as you're participating in something that people find cool, that they talk about in hip hop music, then I'm all for it. You're attractive and I want you. I'll have a baby by you. Help me understand that. That's what's messed up with our community. One of the most popular quotes I heard a few weeks ago at the homeless shelter that I work at, it says, the people who care the most about you are not the people that just sit around and watch you do wrong or watch you be content in your life. The people who care the most about you are the people that's going to push you, the people that are going to challenge you to be a better version of yourself. You're not doing that when you're having somebody or you're attracted to people who just following everybody else, right? Which brings me to Ja Morant. Let me just say this before y'all watch this clip. Let me just say this about Ja Morant as it pertains to Ja Morant. It is okay, hey, to all my young black men out there, all my young black boys out there, it is okay to come from a 2-parent home. I'm going to say it again. It's okay. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with coming from a 2-parent home. There is absolutely nothing wrong with coming from a family that has money. right? It's okay that you didn't have to struggle growing up. That's all right. I understand when you listen to the popular music nowadays, everything is about getting it out the mud, right? Coming from the trenches, right? Getting it all by yourself, not having no help. You know what I mean? Coming from a single parent home, having all this trauma. I understand that. I understand that's what they talk about. But if that's not your story, that's not your story. All right? I'm going to share this story and then we're going to go to the Ja Morant thing. Keep in mind the story I'm about to share with you before you watch the Ja Morant because it's going to make sense. I'm going to try to make this really fast. About sometime last year, I go to Dallas with a good friend of mine. So I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to go too much into details about it. But we go to Dallas. I go to Dallas with him. It's my first time ever being to Dallas. I'm excited, right? So I go out there with him. And at some point while we out there, we're in a hotel room. It was me, him, his girl, and a couple other people. And we get into an argument, right? We get into a back and forth. And he starts talking about high school. We always argue. We like brothers, so it's fine. But this went left really fast. We started talking about high school. And he was like, Didi, it was just like high school, bro. Like, you weren't lit until you start hanging around me. And I was like, I wasn't lit until you, like, what do you mean by that? And he was like, bro, I turned you up in high school. And I'm like, what does that mean, bro? He was like, man, you know dang well what that means. I was like, no, I don't, bro, because I've always been true to myself. I don't know what that means. I'm going to need you to clarify for me. He was like, bro, you know dang well you was bro, you know you weren't that dude in high school. And I was like, oh, what does that mean? I wasn't a what? A what? What are you going to say, a lame? You going to say I was a lame in high school? I was a cornball? What? Spit it out. He never said it. We argued and it got really bad. We almost got into a fight, which hasn't happened since like middle school. We almost got into a fight because I'm pressuring him like, nah, bro, like say what you gonna say. Spit it out. Be real. You're an open person. Be real. Because you won't ever, but he never said it. And you won't ever say it because you know I'm going to rip it to shreds. You won't be able to keep up with me intellectually. You know why? Because he was one to say, yeah, Didi, you was a lame. I asked him, I said, lame? Is that what you're going to say? I was a lame in high school? He was like, bro, I'm just saying. No, answer the question. Was I lame? You said I was a lame? Define to me what it means to be a lame. What does it mean to be a cornball? This is a true story. This happened last year. I said, what does it mean to be a lame? Tell me. He couldn't answer the question. Why can't you answer the question, bro? Why? Because you know your argument is going to be predicated off a house of cards. And for those of you who don't know what I mean or don't know what I mean by a house of cards, it means it's going to be weak. I'm going to be able to say one thing in response, which is equivalent to just hitting one card. If you hit one card in the house of cards, everything collapses. It means your argument is weak. You're going to say I was lame because I wasn't smashing all the girls in high school. It's because I decided and still deciding to wait till marriage to have sex. You're going to call that lame. You're going to say I was lame because I wasn't skipping class and shooting dice behind the school. You're going to call that lame. You're going to call me lame because I guess I didn't have my own car in high school. A lot of people didn't have their own car in high school. You're going to call me lame because I wasn't participating in the illegal activities. You know how, we all know how this goes. You're going to call me lame because I wasn't one of the best basketball players at our high school, right? But you know you can't say that to me because I'm going to rip it to shreds. That's not what being lame means. Because I can flip it on you, bro. What lame really is doing all those things, right? Dressing like everybody else. They decide, culture decides what's hot, and you want to follow them. That's lame. What's lame is having sex with as many women as you can and not, dedicating yourself, committing yourself to one woman. That's the harder thing to do. The harder thing to do is to actually get good grades in school. That's lame to not do that, right? You're doing what's easy. It's easy to follow people. He would never go there because I'm going to rip him to shreds. No, you can't go there. I'm going to be true to who I am, right? I graduated the #1 male in my class. So academically, people got to know who I am, right? Not to mention our school wasn't that big, right? I was the #1 artist. I was a painter. I was the #1 artist at our high school. I was in newspapers. I designed the thesauruses and dictionaries that are still at our high school to this day. But I was a lame because I wasn't doing the other things that you think was hot. I wasn't following what everybody else was doing. I wasn't going to all the parties and smoking weed and getting drunk. I was a lame because I didn't do that, right? Anyways, all of this is important. Remember the story that I just told you. Now I want you to watch this video of NBA superstar Ja Morant, who is on pace to sign a contract within the next 2 years for more than $231 million. I want you to watch this. So once again, this is NBA superstar Ja Morant of the Memphis Grizzlies, and a lot of you may have seen this or heard about this story already. First of all, for those of you who don't know, this man is already in trouble because he allegedly, I don't even know if it's alleged anymore, beat up a 17-year-old boy. This man is 23 years old. Allegedly beat up a 17-year-old kid and pointed a gun at him. NBA superstar, making millions of dollars. Seen on Instagram, now he's being seen on Instagram Live flashing a pistol. What? What are you doing? What? Like, somebody explain to me how this makes any type of sense. You make enough money, bro, where you can have all around security at 24 hours of the day. Why are you doing this? And he's throwing up gang signs. For those of you who don't know what he's doing, I believe he's throwing up Crip gang hand signs. Why? Why are you throwing up gang signs when you're in the NBA? And this is why I said earlier it's okay to come from a two-parent home. This man, what a lot of people don't know about Ja Morant, despite all the tattoos and the popular dances and stuff and how he portrays himself in the media, this man came from a two-parent home. He came from, I believe, a middle-income family. He didn't grow up the way he tries to portray himself. That's not how he came up. Why do you feel like you have to do this, bro? You wasn't this way when you was a kid. Why do you have to portray yourself like that now? It's because of the culture. And it's also because this is a great example to say why it's important to not only have a father in the home, but have a father who's an actual father. I don't know any father who's going to watch their boys grow up in the same household as them and not discipline them and not get on to them and set them straight, right? There's a biological difference between a mental difference and a psychological difference between men and women. That's just a fact. Fathers are not going to play this BS. I don't understand. This man has his father in his life, and you watching your son do this? He's about to finesse himself and his family and his generation, his family generation, out of billions. Out of billions. It's because of the culture. Yes, you making pointed white people down the line, but the white man is not directly responsible for this. He's responsible for this. He's responsible for his own actions. And I don't know if I said this, but he's in a strip club, by the way. I understand why we're doing it, because it's the culture and it's what, you know, rappers and popular people in society get to dictate what's cool, what's trendy. And then you got, he's 23, he's young, but he's not that young. He knows better. And if you have a father in your life that's going to watch you finesse yourself out of the road, I just don't get it, right? But this reminds me, you got Michael B. Jordan, who apparently stayed true to himself, right? Who got to see one of his classmates who was making fun of him. You got Ja Morant, who, I'm not sure how Michael B. Jordan grew up, but you got Ja Morant, who actually grew up in a two-parent home, middle-class family, portraying himself like this in the media, like he a gangster, and he got it out the trenches and out the mud, and he out here in the streets, and he really with it, he flashing guns on Instagram Live. When you got somebody like myself, who I know for a fact, I came from one of the poorest families in my entire school. I know that for a fact. And I never tried to portray myself like that. And I didn't even have a father in my home. Everybody's different, I understand that. But my point is, somebody has to step in and tell this man that, bro, what are you doing? You don't have to do this. You don't have to try to, who are you trying to impress? Rappers? Who are you trying to impress? I just don't get it. Y'all up in the comment section, I just need somebody to tell me, what is a cornball? Somebody please tell me, educate Didi. Because I know a lot of my classmates, whether you know that I know it or not, watch my YouTube or subscribe to my channel. Some of y'all know that I know that. Some of y'all don't think I know. But I know that y'all watch my channel. So even for y'all, because I know a lot of people who agree with Ja Morant's behavior, who agree with these women who's calling this man corny, a lot of y'all agree with them. Agree with Ja Morant's behavior. Y'all won't hop in the comment section. Y'all gonna watch this and click off the video. But for those of you who have common sense and able to see the buffoonery, right? And what this does to our people, to our culture, to our society, to our community, I want y'all to hop in the comment section and educate me. What does it mean to be corny? I don't get it. Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.